For many Jews, Matzah is one of the main attributes of our tradition. Of course, it tells us about the events of the Jews many centuries ago. But do you know that it is also telling us about the modern history of our people? When we start the Passover Seder, there are 3 whole sheets of matzah in front of us on a table, one on top of another. At the very beginning of the Seder, the Haggadah instructs us to take the middle matzah and break it into 2 not even pieces. Then we take the larger piece and divide it into 5 parts more and put them aside. According to many traditions, some Jews even hide them. Then the Seder continues. We read the story of Exodus from Egypt, and we eat the rest of the matzah, maror, the bitter herbs, and we start our traditional dinner. Only at the very end of the evening do we return to the pieces of matzah that we put aside. They are called afikoman. We eat them at the very end of our meal. And the Jewish law states that we cannot conclude our Seder without them. Hasidic teachings explain that this middle matzah tells us the story of the Jewish people. Just like this middle matzah that is broken into 2 pieces at the very beginning of our Seder, the Jewish people were divided into 2 parts early on in our history. The smaller part remained at the Passover table. They observed the Jewish laws, studied the Torah, and lived in the Jewish community. But the larger part, sadly, was not living a Torah-observant lifestyle. Like this larger piece of matzah, they were not at the Passover table. Like the afikoman, these Jews are often hidden. They don't look visibly like Jews, they don't live in the Jewish community, and sometimes even hide their Jewish identity. For most of our history, observant Jews were a minority among our people. And the non-observant majority, like the afikoman, also became divided into small pieces. The Jews who remained at the Seder may have different customs, but the foundations of their lives are the same. Their worldview is based on the Torah. But those who were not part of this observant community, each one ended up having their own ideology, their own lifestyle. One of them could be a communist, another one is libertarian, the third one is environmental activist, and the fourth one is anarchist. But the Seder cannot be concluded until this larger piece of matzah returns back to the table. The Torah says that eventually all Jews will return to Judaism. Sooner or later, every Jew will see the beauty of Judaism and understand the need to observe its laws. And according to the order of Haggadah, after afikoman returns back to the Passover table, we now already all together recite Hallel. We are praising God for everything that He has done to our people. So if you are a part of this afikoman, please come back to the Passover table. We cannot conclude our Seder without you.